Right, today I'm going to show you a point and click Nerf based RPG adventure game I've been working on that I've been building here in Google AI Studios. Basically what you do in here is you give a prompt to the AI, tell it what you want to do, and it tries to build that into an app for you. It makes mistakes, it does things imperfectly, you then tell it to make changes and it makes changes. I've probably given this maybe over 100 prompts to get this game to where it is. It's not finished, it needs balance changes. But it is a working point and click adventure that I made with very little effort, really. So we're just going to do a quick run through so you can get an idea of what the game is, how it works, and hopefully it gives you some ideas of what you can do in Google AI Studios. It's completely free to use. All you need is a Google account, and then off you go. Apologies for the sound quality in this video. It's not going to be great. That's because I'm recording directly over the top of the video rather than editing it in my studio, because I just don't know how I'd go about that. And the whole point is to just kind of showcase what's possible rather than make a refined and cool video. So this is Point and Blast, the Wrath of Clown Baby. So start the game. So when you start your game, you start here in your workshop at the beginning. So this is your base. So you've got a cot there that you can rest in. So if your HP is depleted, you can rest on your cot. So that puts your HP back up to full. However, when you do that, it also resets all the enemy, and you basically have to start again. Not only does it reset the enemies, it also gives them a stat boost and stat increase. So even though you can rest in the cot completely for free, the idea is that it limits you from doing that. There's incentives in the game not to use it unless you need to. Your workshop has also got a first aid station, so if you go and click there, you can collect a med kit. That will start generating another one, and it won't be ready again till I rest in my cot. Then you've got a scrap pile which you can search, which may have interesting things. So I've searched it. It says there that I've found a precision barrel, which is cool. So if I go to my inventory, so you can see I've got the commander equipped, and it's got attachment points. So I've now picked up a barrel. You can see I've got the precision barrel. So click add barrel there, add that on, and that has increased the damage from 10 to 15. You can see it's really accurate, 95% accuracy, and it's the commander, so it's got 6 darts. It's also got a 5 kilogram spring. So what I did was I designed all of the blasters that are spring powered with a 5 kilogram spring. But if you can find stronger springs as you go through, you can go to your workbench here and you can upgrade your blaster with better springs. So you can modify your blaster, because people love doing that in real life. Right, so that's your workstation. Let's head to the city. So you can see there's lots of different places you can go. We've got the blaster shop, which we're going to go to at first. There's a couple of tournaments you can enter. There's a mercenary post where you can pick up jobs for hire to gain currency. So the currency in this game is darts. If you look at the bottom, I've got 200 darts there. I've got 100 at 100 HP. I'm at level 1, so you can have a maximum of level 10. So let's look in the blaster shop and you can see what you can do. So you can see I've got on the right hand side here, I've got basic body armor, I've got tactical gear, I've got ultimate body armor. So let's go ahead and buy some basic body armor there. You can see there's a strife there for 1500 darts. That's the best blaster in the game at the moment. There's a double breach for 250 darts. There's a hyperfire for 400 darts. You can also sell unwanted gear as well, to get darts. And you can buy first aid kits, so I'll buy a first aid kit, could do with one of those. And stabilizing stock. I need a stock for my commander, so I'll buy that. So I've bought myself a stock. So if I go down to my inventory now, you can see I've got the stock in there. So we'll attach the stock to the commander, and that increases its accuracy to 100%. Right, so we've got some first aid kits, we've got our blaster souped up a bit. We've only got 15 darts, so we need to go and earn some darts, so leave the shop. So a couple of ways we can do that. So I'm going to start off by entering the gauntlet. This is a very basic tournament. Gives you a nice couple of hundred dart rewards, and you've also got chances to find blasters and other cool things as well. So rocket testing drone I'm against first. So the way I've designed the combat in this is, obviously you can shoot your blaster, you can reload if you need to, so it's turn-based combat. You can heal if you've got a med pack available, but you can only do that once per battle. Then you've got evade and taunt over here, or finally you can flee for 50 darts if you think you're going to get killed, because if your HP reaches 0, the game is over and you have to start again from scratch. So let's try firing the blaster. So fire the blaster, does 15 damage. The drone turns around and fights me back for 8. Okay, so one of the things I could do is I can taunt it. So that then gives me a damage and armor boost for a couple of turns. So you can see I took 6 damage that time rather than 8. Fire back. Hit for 19. Cool, so the next shot from us should kill this. Right, so we've killed the first enemy. So we've got victory screen there. So I've got the option to use a med pack to heal to full. And I can go in my inventory and make changes if I want. So I can equip the body armor for the next fight, because the next fight is the last one in this little mini tournament. So I've come up against rival I need a name. I'm probably going to call it like player VIP or Mr. Crow or something, but at this point it's just rival blaster. So this time let's try and oh, that's strange. So I've still got my damage and armor boost from the last fight. That shouldn't still be there. That's a bug in the game, so I can tell it that it's not supposed to do that. So let's hit evade and see what that does. So we've got 3 turns worth of evade, get attacked, and this time they miss, so we've got a less chance of them hitting us. So I've done some damage there. Your blaster automatically reloads between fights as well. It wasn't doing that before, and I was finding that for things like the double breach, where it's only got a very small clip size, that was putting me at a major disadvantage when I was using that blaster. So you can see I took a big hit there. The body armor has absorbed it, so I've not actually taken any damage myself. Let's see, let's evade again. Let's try that. That was working quite well. So, okay, I took 16 damage that time, so I didn't manage to evade. But we've taken over half of the damage off the opponent. Let's see. He missed me that time, so fire there. Right, so now I'm going to have to spend a turn reloading. I can't fire back, so I need to reload. So I'm not doing too badly, actually. Like this particular fight was quite difficult at first, although I'm taking a fair bit of damage now. So there we go, I've won that. So I'll use my final med pack, because you can see I've got a bunch of extra darts now. I've won, so I can go and buy more med packs. So I'll complete that. So if I look at my inventory, I can see if it picks anything up. So I got a double breach, so I've won that. It's dropped that. I've also got basic body armor. That shouldn't have dropped from that fight. Why is that dropped? Oh, it's dropped because I've hit level 2. So your body armor, once it reaches 0 HP, it just breaks and disappears. Before it was just hanging around in your inventory. It was annoying. Right, so let's leave there. So let's go back to the blaster shop. We'll buy a few first aid kits. Buy a couple more of those. Right, so let's go to the workshop and see if we found any springs. Hopefully we did. So if we look at the workbench, good, found a 7 kilogram spring from that. So springs randomly drop from enemies, and the heavier the spring, the higher the rarity. So we'll swap that in. So that's give us a +4 damage per hit. So I can sell the 5 kilogram spring. You can only hold 3 at once. So let's have a look then. I'll tell you what, we'll equip the body armor. The double breach, right? So the double breach is interesting. It's far less accurate, but it's more powerful, especially if you upgrade it with the spring. And if you get the attachments for it, it can hit for massive damage. But without attachments, it's not great. So hopefully I can find things a bit like the precision barrel and the stabilizing stock there, like really basic attachments. If I find some upgraded ones, I'll use that, but for now I'll stick with the commander. So let's go to the mercenary post. We've got a bunch of missions here. So each time you defeat an enemy, that enemy is depleted until you rest at the bench, then they respawn. So if you want to keep getting XP from beating them and keep getting darts from beating them and get more chance of unlocking rewards, you'd have to keep doing that. As you beat certain tasks, so there's puzzles in the game, you can see at the bottom there's the ability to pick up keys. So if I just go back to City Square, right at the top of Victory Road, you need keys. So it says there you need a red, blue, green and yellow key in order to proceed. So you find these through the game. If you rest, you lose any keys you've picked up as well, so you have to go and earn them back. So let's have a look. Let's do guard duty. So guard duty, I've got to beat this person. So let's taunt them. Depending on the blaster you're using and the enemy you're facing, sometimes it's better to just shoot straight at them rather than mess around with taunts and whatnot. I've spent quite a bit of time trying to balance the combat. I think at the moment, evade is slightly too powerful. I think that needs to be reduced because some of the enemies you face, if their accuracy is already not great and then you evade, they miss really often. Right, so not taking enough damage to use a med kit. Let's go back to the workshop and see if we found a spring. Another 7 kilogram spring, so don't need that on that, but what I can do, I can equip my double breach, and then I can swap out the 5 kilogram spring in the double breach for the 7 kilogram spring I just found and then replace it. Springs go as high as 10 kilograms, but they're real rare drops of 10 kilograms. Right, let's go to the Dark Alley. So you go in the Dark Alley, you can challenge the Scavenger. So Scrap Scavenger is a fairly easy enemy to fight, but has a chance to drop very good rewards. Also has a chance to drop nothing. So the thing is, the Scavenger, if he had good rewards, he would be using them in this fight, which would make the fight a lot harder. But because he's not equipped with anything strong, I know he's not going to drop anything strong. All right, I didn't unequip the double breach, so this fight is actually going to be a bit harder than I thought. So instead, I'm going to taunt the enemy because I've not put any attachments on it. I'm not going to it's not bad. 30 with the taunt and the extra spring, 30 damage, not bad. Once you get those attachments on it, it can really hit very hard there. Right, let's heal up. So beating him. So it didn't drop anything. It said we found a 6 kilogram spring, so don't really want to do anything with that. Just go to the blaster shop, buy a couple more first aid kits, buy some more body armor as well, because we don't want to be resting. So put the commander back on. And we'll put the body armor on as well. So if we go back to the mercenary post, we'll just try and do some of these jobs. So the attack drone should be fairly easy to beat. So yeah, I've still got the buff from the last fight again. So that's definitely a bug I need to fix. It's not supposed to do that. It should, in theory, like reset everything between games except for your HP. Let's try hit and run. Evade. Try and save some of that body armor. So yeah, the gear head missing there. So I need to rename some of these people. I've got some of my regular Super Blast viewers named as characters in the game. They all need balance. Everything needs balance changes, but I'm just trying to show you how the game works to see what you think, whether there's any interest in anybody playing it. I could publish it, but I need to pay to do that. This is completely free at the moment. Right, yeah, let's do the final one as well. So hit evade. So you can see we probably gonna struggle in this fight a bit. Actually, maybe I should have put some body armor on before I went into it. I think taunt. Right. I'm going to evade because I'm going to have to reload shortly, so it's not looking good, this. Yeah, I'm sick. I'm going to have to evade. Oh, I've got the option to heal as well. I'll do that, yeah. Try and keep me alive. But if I make it out of this fight, I'm going to have to go and rest, which will reset everything. I'm probably not going to complete the run through of the game this time round because we'll be here for an hour or so. Yeah, when you finish battle, you can use all your med kits. So go back to the workshop. Can have a nice rest, so that resets us to 110 HP because we've leveled up. Then as you can see, the first aid station has got a kit there. Scrap pile. Let's search that. I found a 20 dart clip. So inventory. So that will be useful for the hyperfire and the strife, but I can't use it on the others. What about spring? Did we find a spring? Yeah, just 6 kilograms. So let's dump those out. Tell you what. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's go. Before I stop, let's get some good body armor. Let's get a few of these first aid kits. I'll show you some of the bosses. So let's fight Zonda. Let's try and fight Zonda. I didn't put the I bought the armor and didn't equip it. So Zonda's got a double punch, which means you can't see it in this combat mode, but Zonda attacks twice per turn. So I think, yeah, okay, I've not put the thing on, I've not leveled up. Zonda's probably going to beat me, so I'm going to have to keep evading and heal to have a chance of winning this fight. The evade is quite overpowered, so it might actually carry us through. Right, so I need to reload. Zonda, obviously, with the double punch, he's got 20 darts, but he's using 2 a turn, so he has to reload after 10. I could do with finding a way of displaying some more information about the enemy, because you can't see any of this in the game. You can't see the blaster that they're using, or any of the tactics as well. So some of the enemies will employ tactics, so they can do what we can do. They can evade, they can taunt. They don't seem to, unless I tell them to do it. Though they just shoot. They don't. The AI in the game is pretty weak, to be honest. But I can fix it. I can make it more complicated. When I first built this game, it did play, but it was barely functional. You started off at your workshop. There was nothing in the workshop other than the scrap pile, which had the precision barrel and nothing else. And all it had was that one single fight, that tournament with the rival and the drone, and that was it. You had to use darts to enter the tournament, but the game didn't give you any way to earn darts. So as soon as the darts ran out, you couldn't do anything in the game. So I've built it from that point up. I've added all of the features myself. Well, technically the AI added the features. I just told the AI to add the features. I think I might actually beat Zonda here. See, this is what I mean about evade being overpowered. With a starting blaster, albeit with some modifications, I shouldn't be able to beat one of the bosses just by evading, but that seems to be happening. So we do need to nerf evade. So down goes Zonda, unfortunately. So you can see at the bottom there, I've gained the red key from Zonda. And he gives us a quip when he dies. So he said, "My crimson pride shattered from the playground. It is yours." So we've got the key, we've got a 7 kilogram spring off Zonda, and Zonda drops 300 darts. Didn't drop anything else. Right, so rather than like keep playing through, what I'll do is I'll show you. So if I minimize that, and then I'll say here, okay, so I don't want status effects from using taunt or evade in battle to persist between fights. All buffs and debuffs should wear off at the end of combat. So I tell it to do that. You'll have a think about what I've just asked it to do, and then it will put the changes in. And then you need to play test it, because sometimes you do this and then you go in the game and it's completely broken some other function somewhere. So I can't remember what I did something a while ago where I implemented a change, and then as soon as I started selling gear in the shop, it just like completely crashed the whole thing. So yeah, it can do that. What it will do though, so the AI will put it in, so you can see there dealing with the lingering status effects. It's putting that in. It'll implement those changes, and then it will itself run some diagnostics and try and iron out any bugs and things. So it does try and fix bugs itself before you go in and play. But well, I don't know anything about coding at all. I don't understand it. You can see the code there being written in the middle. So if you have a coder and you understand, like, that might be fun to look at. It looks like you've got the ability to go in and type it in yourself. I wouldn't even dream of trying to do that because I'll break it. And then the AI will have to fix it. The other thing is that you have to save the changes yourself as well, because if you don't, when you navigate away from the page, it'll bring you back to where you'd last saved it as well. So this is actually the second version of this game. The first version is more about just collecting lots of darts. It doesn't have that feature where the players reset after each time you go in the cot and get stronger. So you can basically just grind the missions over and over and over again, which was just not very fun to play, really. So you can see there on the left, it took it 37 seconds to have a think about what it asked it to do, and then it's taken like a minute or two to actually implement the changes. There we go. Here are the changes to implement it. You could probably check out what those are if you want. So now in theory, if I go into the game, it should have fixed that problem. But I think this video has gone on long enough for just what I'm trying to do, so I'm going to end it here. If you want to see more of this game, please let me know. I'm quite happy to do a full run through. And then I may release it if people want to play it once I've finished building it. Because at the moment, in fact, we're just going to the game. So at the moment, it's very, very, very simple. You collect the keys by completing all the other thing. You go into Victory Road, at which point you have to go through a final gauntlet where you fight Zonda and Faceful again, and some other enemies, and then you have to beat Clown Baby, and then that's the whole game at this point. So it's supposed to be like a little bit of a roguelite in some ways. Yeah, that's the game. I've never actually, I mean, I've put myself 10 levels in. I've never actually sat and played through and leveled the character up to level 10. I get bored and want to make changes as I find things that frustrate me. So yeah, I've only completed a single run through of the game, beaten Clown Baby once. It was hard, but I've changed the game a lot since I did that. However, what I think will be interesting is have a mess around with this yourself. So if you go to, oh yeah, of course I need to save the change, don't I? Oh, come on, save the chain now. Right, that should have saved now. So if you go to Google AI Studio, so you could just see aistudio.google.com, it comes up here. On the left-hand side here, if you navigate down to build, you can build different apps with Gemini. So it doesn't have to be games. You can build productivity apps. You can build, I don't know, a weather app or God knows what. So it gives you some like showcases here, stuff that you can look at. You can make a chatbot if you want. You can make dynamic text games, which is pretty much what Wrath of Clown Baby is. Obviously, you can make images, videos, and stuff like that. You can only do so much for free per day. I think you get like 1.5 million tokens to mess with or something. But I think I messed around for about 2 hours on my day off work, and I didn't run out of tokens building that game at all. So I had a couple of go at building games. I built a grid game, didn't work. Couldn't figure out how to work it. Tried a text-based roguelike before I started building the Point and Blast. Again, it was I tried to do a deck builder version. I found it really difficult to actually make the game playable. So that's why I went with point and click, because I figured like point and click is very, very simple and straightforward. So yeah, Wrath of Clown Baby. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I know it's not finished, but it's not bad at all. Right, how long have we been going for here? I bet this video is ages long. Let's have a look. Doesn't say. I'm going to end the video there anyway. Let me know if you want to see any more of this. Hope you enjoyed my little showcase.